Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated. But I have mine by my bed pretty much all night long, usually on some YouTube thing that's like feeding my self-esteem while I sleep subconsciously.
Like alpha affirmations?
Like alpha
You are a golden champion. You are a champion of gold. You are golden.
You are great.
Men love you. Babies
you
love you.
Deserve
Women
it.
love you.
You're great.
Yeah.
I love you. Oh my God.
That stuff is awesome.
Oh my God.
I love that. I just discovered alpha affirmations.
Dude,
I'm super into it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That makes me feel more confident.
Yeah. It actually works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it actually does work.
It's weird.
Drive around with it.
It totally makes sense.
The only thing is
you have to badger your mind to like go positive.
One of them, yeah. Well, yeah, because there's the whole idea of programming that you do your bedtime programming and then you wake up a fresher, better you.
Yeah,
I buy into that entirely.
I do too.
So go to bed with good thoughts. You are spirit. You are pure spirit. You are the host, not the hostage.
Is that really one? That would be a good lyric.
You're the
host, not the hostage.
No, that's a guy. That's a dude.
Somebody said that?
Somebody said that, yeah. Sort of, ish.
But you could make it a song.
That's similar to my painting.
You have one of Joe's paintings?
I'm not just Joe's. Yeah, I'm not just like...
We're not just bros.
A guest. I'm a client. Yeah. I'm a patron.
I'm
a patron.
I'm proud. I've dropped your name like several times.
Oh, it's got impact. Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
So I saw you have a really, really big canvas in my manager's office, and I was always really into it. And it's so big that she can't get it off the ground.
Yeah, these are crazy now. These are getting big. But this museum takeover I'm doing is giving me all kinds of space.
We're at Fotografiska, New York.
Fotografiska, New York with Stephan Jenkins. Do you go by that? Or
Stephan, yeah.
Mr.
Cool.
Jenkins.
It's like a German spelling, which I had nothing to do with, but it's a really cool space. How long are you here?
I think forever.
Until February 12th when he's playing
February
that
12th.
night as well.
Yeah, but
you're going to just hold on. They're going to drag you out of here.
I think they're going to drag me out of here in a straitjacket.
Yeah. Like Trump, he's not going to leave.
I don't think I'm leaving.
Like that dude on your couch, you're still here.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Yeah.
Who produced Screamer?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sounds fake.
Along with Colin Creevy, who's our new keyboard player, and he did some of the programming on that, a lot of the programming on that track, and he's co-wrote it and has that real, like, he's responsible for that kind of open, chaotic feeling that really inspired me. And we, Colin and I started writing, and then it just made sense for him to join the band, and that's why we're just, Third Eye Blind's just so good right now, is because he like came in and lifted everybody up.
So
that's why
it got
I love that
new
part.
energy.
Yeah, and he's, he looks more like Harry Potter than the dude who played Harry Potter does now. Yeah.
That's fun.
And he's into it too. Like, he kind of plays it up. He's got a Harry Potter tattoo. He has the same birthday. So he has like Harry Potter vibe, which is really weird for
rock and roll.
Yeah, because I don't have Harry Potter vibe. And
what's your vibe?
I don't know, but it's interesting. Like, what's your vibe? I thought about that the other day. Thank you, Missy.
Thanks, Missy.
Delicious. There's the
thanks, James. Thank you, brother. Cheers.
Yeah, cup of Joe.
Great to meet you.
How do you take your coffee?
I think this is a whole milk latte, 4 shots.
Completely given up on milk and dairy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, it gives me headaches. I was getting migraines kind of like a couple times a week, and just tried stopping dairy and that was
It
the end
worked?
of it's like the end of migraines.
I have
And now
no
it's like-
lactose intolerance.
We all do, darling.
No, I'm tolerant.
Um,
Super tolerant. Super lactose tolerant. I'm weirdly tolerant.
what's your vibe? You know,
I
was
know it's
thinking
the
about
worst
that.
question ever, but
No,
you
but it's
brought up
a
Harry
question.
Potter
It's a-
vibe, and it made
yeah.
me think like, okay,
But it's a
what's
question
your
I
vibe?
asked myself last week, and the reason why is because I got a scooter for my place in San Francisco, and I really loved. I like the whole mod
Yeah.
scene, and I like I
Is
love
it a Vespa?
yeah,
Killer.
and it's Battleship Gray. It's the original color Vespa.
Nice.
And I like kind of tricking out a Vespa because it's like they're for fun. You
Yeah.
know, they don't need to be all serious. But in the process of making choices between blacked out accessories or chrome accessories, I had to ask myself who I am. These always turn into, you know,
That's
like
good.
that all goes right down to existential questions. And the truth is that I'm not a mod per se. I've never been somebody who can jump into and say like I am in this club. And
yeah, you don't fit.
no, I don't.
This is a good.
yeah.
This is really deep, actually.
so that's-
this
so
is like
this goes to the
across
vibe
your,
question.
This is across your whole life, like this.
Right.
Even
right.
your music is like this.
Exactly. And it takes and like it's a long, ongoing, painful process to always not fit.
Right.
And it's really only been recently
I
where I've
know.
said like I like a kind of brutalist, minimalist mod, slightly dirty, slight sense of refuge.
So you went with the blacked out ones?
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. That's the punchline.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
sorry.
I really was really close. I was really close to chrome. And I just said I'm not, because look, mods don't have blacked out accessories. They don't. It's chrome. They keep it old school. So Battleship Gray with chrome, now you're a mod and you get the MIG thing and you get like the specials guy sticker and you get the checkered flag kind of
Right.
vibe. Okay.
And then you fit in, but you don't fit in.
I don't.
So you had to go with the blacked out ones.
Yeah. So I'm mod adjacent.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like,
Yeah. So
what-
I don't ever like what my vibe is. I don't
Let
have
me
an
ask you
answer.
this, like, because I feel like with the not fitting in thing, like sometimes I love it and sometimes I hate it.
It's always been a little like painful, and then I realized that there were other people who were just slightly ajar to things and still wanting to belong, and then recently, and I mean recently, I went, wait a second, I am the maker of the manners. I am the creator of whatever this steez is. And I've always lived in that space, and it's always been good.
Yeah, and you chose the Battleship Gray. I mean, the burnt out ones. I mean, so like that's a conscious choice at a certain level too, like to not fit in.
It's the natural choice, and you think that you're actually being indecisive, but it's actually what you chose is
Yeah.
someplace else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I keep repeating this like patterns of behavior that lead me to those same I don't fit in place.
Yeah, and that's actually your place.
Right.
Yeah. And you actually fucking love that place.
Yeah.
And you are resisting yourself by not actually going like, yeah, that's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit.
So like when you picked the burnt out ones, it was like a celebration kind of.
A bit. It was some sense of arrival, yeah.
I can feel that. That's cool. What if
I hope they never get you out of here.
What I know.
I
what-
hope it goes to
No.
court and
No,
you
this
don't
is going
show
to
up
court,
and then they go
bro.
and then that gets extended.
You're my
and it
lawyer,
just goes
dude.
on and on and on. And then finally they just fucking give up. You guys made such a mistake by letting this dude in here.
Right. Like it's some weird like apartment landlord law where they have to let me keep it for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Because I've been in it and I don't know.
Just atrophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
28 years from now.
What did fame do to like that outsider place that you existed in? Because didn't that sort of isolate you more, but also then kind of like make it be like, oh no, I'm an outsider because I'm fucking famous. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was almost like a place to sort of hide out from the pain of being an outsider, even though deep down you still were an outsider. But fame added another weird element to it.
What did fame do to your outsiderness? Is that the question?
I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Fame to me has been like a box that I checked, and I really wanted to be famous, and then I got famous, and then I went, okay, I did it, and now I want to. I definitely want to like, you know, skip the queue if possible, and I want to get into the restaurant without reservations. But beyond that, I just kind of want to leave it. I like being famous on stage, and then like you just switch it right off. There's no other, I don't have other access to it. I don't have other use for it. And I think people who do are just really fucking intolerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You just kind of miss out on everything. So I don't have this, I don't have a, I think when I first got famous, it was hard on me, and I kind of like lost focus. Like I went out of focus into myself, just became kind of blurry, and made me kind of puffy, like energetically, I think.
Interesting.
And then I kind of dropped out of that, and then then there was kind of a rebuilding of my own sense of value based on what it is that I actually do.
Wait, say that again?
My own sense of value based on what I actually do,
right,
instead of how what I do is perceived.
Okay.
So
yeah.
you know the same thing. So
Yeah.
So for like artists and musicians,
That's so deep what you just said.
I had a friend, and she was doing her first open studio as an artist, and she was really anxious about it. She's really talented. She was an architect, and she was on a Pritzker Prize winning team in architecture, and she's fully into painting now, and she's very anxious about showing it. And she's going to have like gallerists come look at it. And I said to her, they like it, they don't like it. Either way, the most important thing is that you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, it's very hard. You are the artists. They are not artists, and they are not the arts community. You're the arts community. They are helping verbs, and you do not do this for their approval. And they are not the arbiter of what's good.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to make anything good. You're always just going to keep making the next thing and the next iteration of it and the next iteration of it. And that's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the point. And the people who are willing to do that are artists, and the other ones are not. So like you have to you've got to get into that mindset, and it's really hard to do. But when you do, then you have a power that can't be taken away.
That's really well put. Yeah.
So you don't read reviews, and you let all that stuff go.
Totally read reviews.
Oh.
And I get completely knocked out of it. I don't follow any of this advice. It's just like,
Right.
I just thought it'd be good to say.
Yeah, well, it's
I was just fucking with you.
No, but like,
deep,
I
though.
but that goes into it. Same with Joe, where that puts you in a mindset when all it takes is one review to put you in to make you doubt everything. And those reviewers, what do they know really?
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with that for a while, but then then you arrive at some place, and it's that place is finding that onus of value within yourself, and then not giving a fuck.
hard to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
How do you keep your energy from being puffy? You said you went through a puffy energy period, which I thought was like kind of a cool way of putting that.
Yeah.
Like what's your practices that keep your energy fierce?
So it's always about being in alignment with the song. It's always about being in alignment with like actually living your day so that you are taking in experience data from the world in a way where you can wrangle with it. And if you're just there for, like the ride or like the treats, that's when you just kind of like you get puffy. So the way you stay fierce is to stay fucking fierce.
Mm-hmm.
And be willing to huck it out there. For me, it's very much in the body, like being, I don't understand the people who abuse themselves as like a means to their art. It doesn't mean anything to me.
You mean like drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, like, and I like drugs and alcohol. I just don't think it's like a path to expression, even though it has been for a lot of people. I mean, Bukowski was a maintenance alcoholic and created a lot of stuff. But for me, it's not about that. It's about like having a kind of a hungry mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows what that is, know how to get it.
Right. What do you do? Any practices?
For you, it's dairy.
Like, yeah. For me, it's tons of dairy. No, do you do any practices that enable that, like yoga and running or anything like that?
I surf as like, that's kind of my yoga, and that's my running.
Communion. With
like
the ocean.
The ocean provides this totality that I get a lot out of, but doesn't make me really write songs. It just calms me down in some way that makes me happy, and whatever level of depression everybody has, it just alleviates it.
When you say it provides a totality, you mean it makes you feel complete? What does that mean?
It means that there are all these factors of an ocean. So it's this massive body.
Right.
It's being pulled by the moon at every moment. So you're in some kind of gravitational pull that, and look, I'm not into this like hippy dippy goop bullshit. Like, I'm not that type. But when you get in the water, the salinity is the same as your mother's blood. Mm-hmm. The sound of the ocean, the shush. Every culture, women go shh to babies, and they're making the sound of their own blood rushing by when they were floating in sea-like amniotic fluid in the amniotic sea. And then you're pulling in this space that you absolutely can't control. So you let go of control, but you can flow into it. So it requires flow. It requires a flow state. And then when you see a wave come towards you, that wave, from that moment when you spin and go for the wave, your mind is no place else. Mm-hmm. Where else does that happen? You have it in fragments, playing music, fragments in meditation, yoga, fragments in sex, but it's in surfing where you are completely paying attention to nothing else, fully in that moment.
That's true.
And so put that all together. Mm-hmm. Plus it's like, your heart is pumping crazy. You're 138 BPMs.
Absolutely.
you're in this like, you're in this constant state of between fear and grace.
Yeah.
There, totality.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, what did we leave out? I guess fire. There's no fire.
Fire in the belly.
You convinced me to start
on, bro.
surfing.
Don't surf though, people.
No,
it's over. It's a terrible thing to do. Yeah.
It's great. I've tried it a few times. I loved it. I fell a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. Nobody's natural. Nobody has an aptitude. There's no such thing as an aptitude for surfing.
Yeah.
Plus, it embodies everything that we're afraid of. I tell people who like eventually it's like you're diving face first off a building into an avalanche that can drown you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do it if you're afraid, because then you get stiff, so you'll mess it. So you have to do it with a quarter smile on your face.
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
How long you been surfing?
I don't know, long time.
Long time?
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Northern California.
Okay, so probably since you were a kid were you surfing?
I mean, I kind of would get to go a little bit, but it was only in the last maybe 14 years that I really went like, this is now going to become pillar to my life.
Mm-hmm.
This is like foundational.
Nice.
There's music, there's impact with friends, there's some kind of giving beyond myself, some kind of political resonance, surfing, end of list.
Yeah. Would you say it provides like sort of like communion with a higher power?
I think that there's a calming nature about being like present and floating in the universe. Yeah, but it's also, like I find I go surfing with my friends and we laugh like little kids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like there's this
That's
kind
true.
there's a kind of like giddy, childish, childlike excitement that happens. And I volunteer with a group called the Jimmy Miller Memorial Foundation, and y'all can look that up. They take Marines who active duty Marines and non-active duty Marines who suffer from PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
and they call it ocean therapy. It's just surfing. We just take them surfing.
Right.
We just teach surfing. I'm not a therapist. I'm not even a very good surf instructor. But I understand what that sense of presence that surfing brings, and I could just see like what that would do with somebody who's always somewhere else. I don't know very much about PTSD, but one of it is that you got something else on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in that mindset is owning you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're always somewhere else with your trouble. You haven't actually come home. You are still you're still on a roadside in Afghanistan, even though you
can't get present.
Yeah. And surfing brings you into the present.
That's true.
So.
That's awesome.
I like being in your studio.
Thanks, man.
I liked it when people were just wandering around like we're in a natural history museum. We're like some tablet.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. How long has it been since you guys put out a record before Screamer?
The covers record that we did for the Warhol
Mm-hmm.
Museum was a year before, and then I guess before that it was like 3 years we did We Are Drugs, and then I don't know.
Wait, you did a covers album for the Warhol Museum?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we were gonna
in Pittsburgh.
We were gonna start what became the Screamer album, but we didn't really have the music there, and we were on tour in Europe, and we wanted to record. We wanted to get in the studio, and we had days off in between tour dates. So I was like, let's just go in the studio. We'll pick a song and we'll track it. Mm-hmm. Something we like. Criterion being it's like a song that we like that people don't necessarily know. So we're not going to redo other people's hits, and we'll kind of amplify it. And so we would go in, and we really didn't have any criteria but beyond that, and was like, what about this song? Yeah, let's do that one. So we'd learn it and then play it.
Mm-hmm.
Turned into an album. And
how many days in the studio?
that record was
Like quick,
really quick. Yeah.
but like one track a day, or
Pretty much a track a day,
or
but
more than one.
But then it was
No.
mixing would be, mixing would be longer.
Would you cut more than one a day sometimes?
No,
Okay, one a day.
mostly, yeah.
I like that vibe.
Yeah.
And you
then,
try to like finish it, kind of thing.
Yeah, try to like kind of
Get
rush
a good
through.
rough mix of it.
Yeah.
By the end.
And what
That's
it did was
fun.
like you get to study like somebody else's feel and their vibe, or like Justin Vernon, we covered one of his songs, and he's got really weird intervals in his harmonies, and I was like, I should skip these, but I'm actually really curious what he's doing, so I would try to figure it out, and then I ended up just kind of like redoing his song. It kind of puts you in a mindset of like what somebody else's kind of vibe, and like Baby Shambles, that like Third Eye Blind is very. It comes from like being good musicians and being like that kind of like there's a certain sprinkling of like Oakland funk, oddly enough, in it, of like kill the pocket.
Like we're actually badass.
And they are just like, we're actually really high, and and we are at that beautiful moment where it really is about to fall apart.
Yeah, but it's glorious.
Yeah, it's a glorious disaster.
It's like a glorious
and we're like,
disaster.
let's try to get in that.
Yeah.
So
did you guys do it?
I don't think so.
Well,
not on that track.
Oh, okay.
No.
But did you make it your own and like good, or you don't really like how that one came out?
I like Baby Shambles' version better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, than ours.
Well,
yeah,
usually
but other
the originals
ones
are better. I mean, like it's hard to beat the original. I don't really feel like with covers it's like trying to beat the original.
Yeah, no, I don't think that is. I think I was just kind of like, we're kind of celebrating them, So, but the other ones we did radically different takes on them. We did one by this band I love from Seattle they're called Chastity Belt. And we saw them in Berlin while we were on tour in Berlin. And my guitar player turned to me and said, "We will never be able to play like that." Because they're just playing like so. They were making so much space for each other, and so we took one of their songs and we played it the way we would play it. And then we had them come out and play with us when we played Seattle. And it was kind of the shit, but it was very different, very
That's
different
cool.
take. It was fun to do that album.
Where'd you play in Seattle?
I don't know, the Enorma Dome. I don't know.
Dude, you're about to play Radio City Music Hall, right? That's dude,
March.
That's insane.
Yeah, but it's seated, which is
but
so I mean,
That's
it's
still
cool to play
great.
that, but like I like it when they have a pit. I wish they could just pull out.
There's a tiny pit.
Is there?
Just like the first 3 rows up
People will
front.
go crazy
Okay.
and run up.
Yeah, but everyone stands up. I mean, I've been to plenty of shows where everyone.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Would I take playing there over someplace else that doesn't have seats? Yeah, I would, because it's Radio City. So like, there
it's legendary.
there are these pluses, and we are gonna be tippy top when we're like. I mean, I'm very proud of this band that we don't mail it in, and I've seen bands that do, and it makes me wonder what they're doing. But when you so like the Greeks, they developed the amphitheater. Probably existed before Hellenistic Greece, but there weren't individual seats in those spaces. So you had these rows, these semicircular rows, so that people could be next to each other, touching each other, and they can see each other from across. And the reason for this is the collectivity of experiencing music is the point. So we go to music to feel things. Music makes you feel things, the muse, it brings alive the muse, and then you're living in an emotional landscape. It brings that to life, right? So you're living in that emotional landscape. One that is fueled by feeling. songs are not essays. And then you're feeling those things, and you don't know this. It's not there's just some transformation that there's some transcendence that happens where you now, like when you get high, when you like suddenly I'm not stoned, I'm stoned. That moment you are feeling these things collectively. And in that moment, we are not alone. We are actually
unified,
connected to each other, which is a rare feeling, because actually you are alone and you're going to die alone. But here now we have this sense of actual connection with humanity. Seats get in the way of that. Seats don't help.
Seats don't help?
No, they help you listen. So, we'll play better. But when you're all really touching each other, like that's why I always tell the audience, I tell everybody, turn around, find somebody and like greet them, right? So that you actually like to foster that sense of connection. Because, people at shows, they're all guarding their real estate.
Yeah.
Don't step in front of me. Don't,
that's true.
All that kind of shit. I try to get past that because once you let go, everybody's shoulders relax. They're a little bit more able to actually get the feeling that they came there for.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to put it. I've never heard it like that before. So you live in San Francisco, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have are you like married or anything like that, or?
I wouldn't tell you if I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Try to keep all that.
Yeah. Secret.
Just. Yeah. But I'm not married.
Man, I'm glad you told me. Like I started getting scared for some reason.
Really?
No, I mean kind of.
I'm scared.
Like
clearly,
just I didn't want to overstep my bounds.
No, it's all good.
It's weird.
But I've been in public relationships, like ones that were very public, and I don't see the value in it.
In exposing any of that.
No.
Right, I feel you. Yeah.
So it just I don't see the plus.
I didn't even want to ask you, but I just did because I felt like it was my responsibility to.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. Is we're in a podcast.
Like do-overs?
Yeah. No, I mean I don't feel that. I feel like this whole riff is fun too. So I'm glad we're here. I'm glad
I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. But interesting that I just had misgivings about asking you that and then pushed myself to ask you that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not super guarded about it, but
right.
It's like if somebody asked me about politics, that's much more value. I
like Wang or Yang. I mean,
like Wang, if you talk about that,
I like Yang. I think I might be a member of the Yang gang. I like him, but I don't know if you want to go down a politics rabbit hole.
I mean, once you start, it's really hard to not go.
I just like him.
But I've gotten into all kinds of trouble because I'll talk about I believe that we are definitely in a time period where you have to take a side in this country and worldwide that we've begun dystopia. We're living in autocracy. We are living in climate. We're in the climate crisis now. It's not coming. We're in it. We're in autocracy, and so I will talk about shit like that, which
bums people out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're always going to lose 49% either way, and I'm totally willing to do that. But talking about
Do you do it at shows?
Oh yeah.
My girlfriend is suddenly just goes, yeah, I don't see the plus. Do I know? No, I don't think music. I think that I really believe that there's I believe in the gathering power of music. I believe that is an emotional
conduit
kind of collectivity, and it's not a political act in itself, but my music is all political in some way, not overtly, but there's always some sort of internal politics to it. There's the friction between human beings.
Well, Screamer is, right?
Sure. Yeah, that whole album is about kind of relationships and dystopia, I think, and how we it brings out something vital in us, and even when we fail.
What brings something vital in us? Relationships,
crises.
Crisis. Oh yeah. What else would? Like, I don't feel like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that. Like how, like, why wait for tragedy to fall before you like really kind of shift your whole way of being? But it's like, how else do people shift? They don't, unless some crazy shit happens.
Well, what the album Screamer is working on right now, what it's talking about is that we're in crazy shit, and mostly the choice is to kind of void it out, and find something pleasant and mollifying, halcyonic, as a response. And another response is to be a fucking screamer, and to be like your negativity is going to come up against my positivity,
right?
And I'm going to win.
Right.
And there's an energy in that.
Absolutely.
And I'm in that category. And like, I like escapist music, man. I like Lana Del Rey, like covering that LBC track, I think it's great, but that's definitely kind of like, like a nostalgic kind of escape, and that has appealed to me. I'm just doing on this record something else.
What would you say you're doing?
Screaming. I think that these times, rather than calling you to void it out, can actually call you into a kind of vitality, that's action. And I also think that this is also like in the context of post patriarchal cis het relationships, where I see women changing in a pretty radical way, and it's a way that it inspires me. It provokes me in a positive way.
When you say like, okay, screaming to like get into a position more of like self-empowerment, I want to, like, my next thought is like, what do you do to provoke self-empowerment within yourself? Like, because when I think of it for myself, I think, okay, I go to yoga, I box, I run. These are things that are the most like,
yeah.
And then if I'm like taking care of myself or overcoming some like typical weaknesses and like overcoming some bullshit addictions or whatever like that, these are ways in which I feel like what you just said. But like, what ways do you feel that provoke that within yourself?
That's it. And what I would add to that is inertia, meaning like,
like momentum.
Yeah, like so. We're in moments where if you have any sense of like collective good, importance, any sense of that at all, you're going to be shouted down. And if you get yourself, like I said, inertia. So if you take...
Well, hold on. Let me, because that's a lot what you just said. Like, if you have any sense of...
collective good,
you're going to be shattered down?
Yes.
Is that what that's a crazy lyric for one. You're going to be shattered down. That's nice. I mean, just in a poetic sense.
You can't have it.
But I'm not taking it. But
shit's mine.
Anyway, it's yours. But I'm. So what do you mean by that? If you have any sense of collective good, you're going to be shattered down. What's that mean?
So we're living in a state right now where there are these big forces at work. So climate being one of them. We have to look at energy in terms of not just personal use, but how that affects the totality. But doing that requires change, radical change, and so that will be met with resistance. We're at a point right now where democracy does not serve. It doesn't. People in power don't think that it serves them anymore, so they're trying to subvert democracy. I'd like to see New York, Manhattan turned into one big bike path, and like
no cars.
They have shitloads of bike paths now.
Yeah, we need more. People are still getting
every street,
remember this,
every
people.
Street has a bike path.
Bicycles are traffic, and they're vulnerable. Bicycles are vulnerable, so you should take care of them. Don't be mad at somebody because they're riding a bike. They're traffic.
You wear a helmet?
No.
I always do.
No.
Dude, you got one brain, man. You can break an arm, no big deal. But your brain?
Yeah. I don't wear a helmet.
Well, you need to start.
It's not long.
If you get one thing from this whole podcast, it's wear a damn helmet.
I mean,
seriously.
I think I ride a bicycle with this sort of like omnipresent sense of paranoia, and I can see better, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I should probably wear a helmet.
You absolutely should.
What about on your scooter?
I wear one on my scooter.
Same thing.
It's a Davida, though, one. It's useless. It's made out of cork. I don't ride fast, though.
What do you like about San Francisco? Like, you've been there a long time, haven't you?
Yeah. I always miss it when I'm away. I think I like my own sense of history there. I'm pretty pissed off with San Francisco right now. I think as a lot of people are.
How come?
Well, so we're not dealing with homelessness in any kind of useful way, and we're making people who we're making people who live there be responsible for it when they're not. So, I mean, it's a really hard problem, and I'm not for this whole thing, like just boot them out of there. I'm not for any kind of Gestapo tactics.
Are they doing that in San Francisco?
No, they're not. They're not. But it's definitely becoming worse, and it causes a lot of it causes suffering, not just to the people who are experiencing homelessness in the city. But I'm San Francisco to the bone. I love it, and I like the way it sounds at night. You can hear, from most parts of the city, you can hear seals barking in San Francisco, and you can hear the foghorns rolling in at night. It's really good sleeping weather. That fog rolls in almost every night and brings it down to about 51 degrees, and it just chills you down. And I like that feeling. I like the way the light changes. I like the Victorians. I like going down streets and always wondering what it was like to be on these streets. I don't ever have that feeling in New York. New York doesn't give a shit. New York wipes it clean every 20 years. They're just like, that's not what we're not about. There's no sentimentality here, and I like that about New York. Like,
that's not true.
I think in Manhattan there's truth to that, and there's a value to that kind of sense. But I think San Francisco has a real forward-thinking quality. And you know what? It isn't true, because I go to Williamsburg. I was walking up Williamsburg, and I walk up streets, and I go, I wonder what this was like in the 50s. And then the other day,
I got so much personal history. Like when I just walk around the village, because I've been here 25 years.
But I was in Williamsburg, and I walked up the street, and here's a woman, and she's sweeping her bit of sidewalk in front of her little fence in front on the sidewalk there, with those those little steel garbage cans. She's speaking Polish in Williamsburg to a guy. He's speaking Polish, and I'm like, that's what it's like. That's what it was like when this was like a Polish neighborhood, you know. And it's still kind of there, and like that really, I don't know, just was inspiring to me, you know. So yeah, you're right. It's not true. New York is not that way. But it's partly true. In Manhattan, it is, and I think that there's value to that sense as well. Anyway, yeah, I love San Francisco even when I'm pissed off at it.
That's a good song lyric too. So, what's your songwriting process like? Did you on Screamer? Did you write all those songs on your own, or did you co-write with people?
I co-wrote.
Yeah.
A lot on this record. And I usually have a much more kind of shut down process, and it's me with a guitar, a notepad or an iPad, and you know, recording little melodies into my phone, and then they sort of slowly take shape, or they come together very quickly. One of the two, but this one's open door policy, and it was really fun. I don't know that that'll happen on the next record. I know I want to work with my keyboard player, Colin, again. We've written a bunch of songs together that I've really enjoyed, but I'm much more open to the process of collaborating, because I think I'm less worried about, like, you know, will it sound like me? Will it be?
You're more confident.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't sound like me anyway, you know. Like I keep looking for it to sound like me. Maybe it'll get there someday, but it's that's not what matters. It's like what matters is that you're in the hunt.
What do you mean it doesn't sound like you? I think it sounds like you.
I mean that there's always some sound out there. There's some texture that when a song is really good, that you're, or any kind of piece of art that is good, you're trying to, like, you're downloading it, right? And the download's never perfect. It's an analog download.
Where do you get, like, inspiration from musically? Do you, like, who are some of your biggest influences? Like, hip hop factors in. That's one of the first things I noticed about you guys and what you're doing was I recognized that, and I liked that element of it a lot.
I mean, I heard a Kendrick Lamar track the other day that I really liked.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
I don't. What's her name?
Billie Eilish.
I like Billie Eilish's record. I like that. I like it that it's really this. It's this very claustrophobic, all-inclusive world that she's in. She and her brother are, like, really tight in there. And I think Ocean Eyes is a song that's will last and last. Now I was thinking the song's Lark. It's Angel Olsen. I really like her. And I don't tend to look back much. I mean, there's music that really influenced me.
Yeah, like when you were
70s funk, and
like when you were a kid.
Yeah, Gap Band. Those beats are very much, like, ingrained in me.
Gap Band. Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of, like, danger and the exotic quality of reggae, you know, the first Police record, those kinds of things. But like, I don't put those on and play it. Like, you know, I learned to play drums on Blondie, Parallel Lines. I still think that's one of the, you know, great recordings, and songwriting from T for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens. But I don't that music's not on in my house. You know, I'm kind of always looking for new music,
Right.
and never really finding it. Like I go to the gym now and I want like super aggressive. I want some kind of like vicious EDM
Sleaford Mods.
something. I don't know. Like
Dude,
send
you
me
got to listen to Sleaford Mods.
somebody like send me
That's great
a,
workout music. It's aggressive. It's like
Sleaford Mods.
Sleaford Mods. Remember the Streets?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Mike
like
Skinner?
Yeah, Mike Skinner. It's like the Streets.
How are you into the Streets?
I fucking loved it.
Dude. Okay.
I loved it. But like
Let's
it's
just
like
go on and on about that.
Bro, it's like the Streets, but it's like more intense. It's perfect for working out, and it's really smart and aggressive, and yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah, you're gonna
that
like
first Streets record, Mike Skinner, you know,
Pirate Radio.
Pirate Radio,
Pirate
those
Radio material or some shit.
original pirate material.
Original pirate
Yeah.
material. Yeah.
You're listening to the Streets. Yeah.
Fucking that album landed like an atomic bomb on my head.
Me too.
I loved it.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I actually reached out to Mike Skinner when we were on tour.
Yeah. How long ago?
We were there in the fall.
Oh, okay, recently.
Right?
Yeah, I think he's
were there
got
in
a
the fall.
podcast too now.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah, I'm a huge fan of his, and
Yeah.
I heard him in some interview, and he was hilarious in the interview. And I'm every once in a while, I'm like really lifted up and moved by something that makes me go like, whoa.
Yeah, that did it.
Yeah.
That did it.
You
The
know.
first Tricky record did it too.
Yeah, the first
Same thing.
the first Strokes record.
Yeah, the first Strokes record. I agree.
But I mean, I listen to Justin Vernon.
Yeah. His first record did it too.
Yeah, but I mean his most recent record, just that like I really am inspired by. He's trying to get off tempo. He's trying to disguise where the one is, so that you're more kind of free floating. And I find that really like I'm primarily a drummer, and I approach things as a drummer. And I'm like, where's one? I don't know. Where's the downbeat in this track? And where's the backbeat? Like, and I like it that he's.
What's that album called? Kind of stuff. I got to hear that.
It's like I.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed on his.
Have you listened to Marijuana Death Squad?
I'm not sure. I've heard the band name. Why?
Because it's just pure raucous chaos.
Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I noticed that Justin Vernon tunes to 432 sometimes. Like on his first record, I noticed it.
Goes up?
No, it goes down.
Down.
Yeah, 432 instead of 440. Yeah. You should try that. It's like really insane, and it's a cool rabbit hole to go down through YouTube, like exploring it, because it's like more beautiful sound waves than 440 is.
Then
more
why are we
angular.
on 440?
Because like the Germans back in World War II era,
every fucking time. Every time.
That's why. Apparently, dude. I don't know. This is just shit I read on the internet. 'Cause it's more Teutonic?
So,
yeah, like it's just like more like aggressive. Huh. But 432 is like this, like, you know, sort of transcendent thing. Huh. I've been tuning in it lately, and I like it.
Okay.
Feels like a leg up.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I want to listen to this podcast.
Well, dude, what time is it? Oh, we still got time.
Yeah, we've barely scraped the surface with him.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, with the Fame thing, when all that was happening, you're opening up for U2, you're opening up for Oasis. Yeah. Was that how did you take all that in? Is that another check?
I don't like being I wasn't saying that I like being
well, you did check.
anonymous. I was saying that like I don't carry fame around with me. Like I become famous when I go on stage, and like my face structure changes.
Right.
And that's like, it's me, but it's famous Stephen, you know? Right. And then that shuts down is what I'm saying afterwards. Like, you know, walking down the street, I'm not trying to invite that kind of energy at all. And I know famous people who do, and they're pretty fucked up. So that's what I meant by it. Yeah. And it's funny because somebody will come up to you in a cafe or something when like you're just in your mode and you can't like them back enough. You're not giving them even though I'm trying to like send back the
adulation,
the praise. Yeah. Like, and try to be present for that. And there's just some level where you're not going to be able to give it back enough.
Yeah, you're blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find myself somewhat weirdly distant sometimes in those situations, and I don't know why. Usually it's after a show, but it's like there's this like weird, like, I don't know, after a show, that energy, that adrenaline that like spikes and then comes crashing down or something.
Yeah, it does.
How do you deal with that?
So Third Eye Blind's toured so much that we have just fallen into rituals and practices that are just fully based on functionality. So we eat dinner after the show. It's almost always sushi. Burns clean. It's kind of available, and we really don't have anybody backstage right after the show. Everybody's in good spirits. It's not some big deal. It's just we spend maybe 25 minutes, get out of sweaty clothes, change into comfy clothes, and have a little meal together. Ha ha ha, joke. And then you've come out of that dip, and then you're ready to say hello to people and things like that. That's usually what it is. It used to be sort of a heavier crash, but I think it's also because there was noise depression. I think I was listening to music louder.
What, you wear earplugs now?
I wear in-ear monitors, and they're not without problems. There's a lack of. It's all about that exchange with an audience and having that be as tight and connected. Visceral. And for me, as sober as possible. I never drink, or there are no kind of drugs before a show. It's all about like, we're actually right here in this, and that's what makes it transcend. So I'm better with kind of like that post-show depression and the post-tour depression. But it's still, we take 25 minutes or so and chill. Why? What do you do?
Yeah, post-tour now, I just get right after it. Like,
really?
I'm just like straight away into yoga the next day. Like, I don't hesitate at all. Because I know that's like a vulnerable time.
Yeah.
That post-tour depression.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be like watching nature programs in the daytime.
Just like, eating ice cream.
Holding yourself tightly.
Shit. Yeah. And then, post-shows, I don't know. I just ride it. But it's, usually you're taking photos or whatever, and I don't know, it just puts you in like a certain kind of zone. But
I'm good to take a photo 25 minutes after.
Yeah. You wait.
I've had my edamame.
Yeah, I don't do that. Maybe I should do that.
You should.
But everybody would leave the venue if I did that.
Not if they want to see you.
Drive safely.
Yeah.
Get home safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I go out there and sell that merch.
So you have a podcast? Your band has a podcast?
Yeah, we have a podcast. It's very unlike this podcast. We were talking about.
It's the anti.
We were talking about like
podcast.
What do you do after shows, and what
right.
I didn't say was that.
You do a podcast.
Some nights we just podcast. Yeah,
that's
called
cool.
Pod of Wine. It's on the places where
is it live?
Podcasts are. It's not live, but it's it really should be edited. It goes on and on. It's free form. People wonder what it's like to be backstage at rock shows,
right?
And so this is us sitting backstage, drinking sake, eating sushi, and chit chat. So it's kind of that 25 minutes of post show, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's cool. So do you just record it on your phone, or like how do you guys
they do
record?
it right.
Or you do
it's
it right?
Multi-camera.
Multi.
With mics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched one last night. It was
that's
great.
cool. I'm gonna check it out.
I mean, it's not that right. Like we don't have the SM7s.
Well, but you
Whatever.
don't do
good.
it on
Whatever.
your iPhone, is what I mean. Like you do it.
What kind
right.
of mics?
I don't know what they
Not
are.
that it matters.
Like you
They got nice.
Just
mics.
you got mics, so that's
there's
cool.
mics. You can talk into a microphone.
Yeah.
You can wear headphones on our podcast, and they're all fixed cameras, so it's kind of like prison cam.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah,
But it's the entire band.
Who edits it together?
it's not really edited.
But like somebody's editing between shots, right? Like
Yeah, Chris
Chris
does that. Our guitar player. Yeah.
Shout out Chris.
Yeah, he's
He's the Ahood of the bunch.
He's their Ahood.
That's who
Yeah.
puts our shit together over here.
But it's fun to it's fun to do, and it's just kind of amazing though that like people are watching our podcast because we're just really literally just chit chat.
But that's what all podcasts are. All the best ones are just chit chat.
I think yours is kind of gets down to like what's like the philosophical significance to this. Like where do we get into like a
Try to
take
go
it down
deep.
to a deeper point.
Yeah.
On Pot of Wine, one thing I can assure you is there's no deeper point.
No deep point.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this one doesn't always have to go deep, but it does.
And yet
tend that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
All right.
Good podcast.
You think so?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy you came, man.
Yeah, it's good to be in your
All right,
space.
so next is a tour that you guys have coming up with a stop in New York in March. And after that,
Is it Hawk My Wares time? Yeah.
a little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
Screamer Spring
By the
Tour.
time
What are
this
you doing
comes
in New
out-
York?
on
What are you
sale.
doing in New York right
Yeah.
now?
Go to your place where you get tickets, wherever that might be. And if it's sold out, sneak in.
Are you doing like promo right now, or what brought you to New York this time?
I'm just kind of doing a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not doing any promotion right now
Oh, okay.
for it. It's just kind of working on a bunch of other things. Actually going to do a little bit of writing too. It's fun because I'm like starting this spring tour up for Screamer, and we're going to play a bunch of new songs. But then I'm in this mode of writing right now.
Right.
And we'll be spending we sound check every show for maybe 45 minutes. And it's not really a sound check. We actually just use it as kind of rehearsal time, and we'll
recording.
We just like
It's
better
that
to not record.
REM album, New Adventures in Hi-Fi. They like recorded it at sound checks and stuff like that.
No, we don't actually record it. We just play.
Get it down.
And things they slowly take shape without pressure. So we'll be kind of workshopping a new record at soundcheck, and that keeps things snappy and lively as well.
So you're in a sort of a creative like flow state right now with the music, maybe more so than you have been in a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've definitely spent time in a in real stuck places where I can't focus.
What was the cause of that?
To get to Ursa Major, I think it was 6 years between those records.
Right.
And I went and I produced other albums and slowly began working on a record, but I was really distracted. I think I was kind of reevaluating
your purpose.
Myself, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out of a really just kind of the big relationship transition. And
Was it like a toxic relationship kind of thing?
aren't they all?
Fair
and
play.
So yeah, but if I could have advised myself, and I've seen other people who are in, like where they were, whatever you want to call it, like whatever cliche it is, slump, stuck, writer's block, whatever bullshit it is.
Dark Night of the Soul.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, just you know what, like, because the thing is, like, it's like when you become a critic of yourself. That's not a creative space.
Right.
And it's not a rock and roll space.
Right.
Like that rock and roll mindset it's pretty thoughtless.
Yeah.
You just go ahead and make it. Is it good? Is it bad?
You're not
Is he
afraid.
a kind man? Does he have plans?
You're not
Doesn't
afraid.
fucking matter.
You're not afraid to suck.
You're not thinking,
that's rock and roll. Like
you're not.
You just go for it.
Exactly. You just huck it out there.
Yeah.
And
I really agree with that.
And then go make another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like what Andy Warhol says. He says like while everyone tells you, or like make art, and then while everyone tells you how much it sucks, make more art.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's like and then Bukowski, don't try.
Don't try. You're right.
It's on his tombstone.
Keep staying in that, and that takes a kind of discipline. In
It
itself,
takes
there is no try.
You have to
do.
elevate the way you feel about yourself to a certain degree to get to that place of sort of nihilistic, not giving a fuck, which is kind of ironic, I think. Because if you're like self-esteem is really like suffering, it's harder. Like the impetus to be that internal critic and be that worried person, worried about your exposing this painting, for instance, like you have to I feel like you have to be at a certain sort of elevated space.
I know this
to
chick,
not give a fuck.
I know this chick who, just to push back on that, and she has, I think, a really pretty bad feeling about herself. Mm-hmm. She's got big hit on the radio right now. And
what's her name?
Yeah, I'll just leave it. And it's really good, but she's certainly suffered from a lot of writer's block. But then she's just like, "Fuck you," and she's like this kind of cry from the soul. Mm-hmm. And so that's a way of doing it as well.
Right.
But like, if you could just, it's like, look, it's just a tune. It's just this song. I obsess over lyrics, and I really struggle if it's not exactly just right. And I don't even know why it's right or wrong. I just know when the lyric fits in this slot. And when it doesn't do that, it unravels the entire song. So that what takes me forever in making albums is actually getting the lyrics right for me. You gotta make the time. You have to get in the mindset, write the goddamn lyrics, and then let it be.
Let it go.
Yeah. And then we'll do it again. Right.
That's so true.
I've said this before.
I think it's harder the older you get, though. Like that's what I mean. Because when I was younger, I didn't need that elevated self-esteem place. Like I was just like fucking crazy and doing it, But the older you get, I feel like sometimes the game changes internally for me anyway.
Here now at the tender age of 27, I can say that I'm, ready to roll.
You're already 27. I'm 26.
So yeah, just stay at it now that
now that we're at this older age.
Yeah. It's, splendor in the grass.
All right, man. Great to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Stephen.
All right, everybody. Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.